Salut à vous les Froggies, ici le prétorien Morpheus pour vous amener une fois de plus dans l'univers de Star Atlas. Et aujourd'hui, je vais vous faire découvrir l'interview du cofondateur de Star Atlas, Pablo Quiroga. Dans une vidéo précédente, je vous avais déjà fait découvrir un peu Michael Wagner. En fait, bon, on n'a pas vraiment parlé de Michael Wagner dans cette vidéo, mais en tout cas, Michael Wagner, le fondateur, le PDG de Star Atlas, il décrivait justement Star Atlas et les enjeux qui vont bien au-delà du simple gaming. Hein. Donc si vous n'avez pas encore vu cette vidéo, je vous mets le lien ici en haut à droite. N'hésitez pas à aller la regarder, elle est vraiment très intéressante. Et justement, elle aborde les points qui font que, à mon sens, ce projet est profondément disruptif et révolutionnaire. Et c'est également ce qui transparaît dans cette traduction de cette interview-là que je vais vous présenter aujourd'hui de Pablo Quiroga, donc le cofondateur de Star Atlas, qui vraiment développe, j'allais dire, des points qui vont très loin. Et c'est vraiment moi ça qui m'a attrapé, qui m'a saisi dans Star Atlas, puisque je ne suis pas un gamer à la base. Hein, et ce qui m'a vraiment parlé dans ce projet, c'est, on va dire, les enjeux sociaux, les enjeux humains, les enjeux économiques, les enjeux politiques, vraiment des enjeux profondément disruptifs. Ça m'a vraiment beaucoup fait penser à une série d'ouvrages que j'ai beaucoup aimé. Hein. Si vous n'avez pas encore lu le livre Sapiens ou le livre Homo Deus, je vous invite à les lire. Et c'est ce genre de réflexion, ce genre d'analyse qui nous ouvre des perspectives vers le futur, des perspectives, j'allais dire, dans le futur de nos sociétés, de nos civilisations et dans le plus profond de l'homme, et qui nous pousse à aller plus loin et à aller explorer des nouveaux horizons, un peu comme l'Enterprise qui va explorer des nouvelles zones du cosmos. Eh bien, ces zones de cosmos se trouvent aussi en nous et aussi dans ce monde-là qui est là autour de nous sur cette Terre. Donc, bon, c'est un peu bizarre ce que je vous raconte peut-être, hein, vous êtes là pour entendre parler peut-être de blockchain, de gaming, etc. Mais bref, écoutez cette interview de Pablo Quiroga, c'est juste un extrait hein, que je vous ai mis. Et vous allez voir qu'il nous emmène loin et vous allez comprendre pourquoi cette vision de Star Atlas et ce projet, moi, me parle tant et voilà, elle m'inspire autant et nourrit également ma propre vision de l'avenir et de l'humain. Voilà, et puis j'en ai profité pour vous faire cette petite vidéo ici sur un spot de surf à La Réunion, puisque Pablo Quiroga est un surfeur, me semble-t-il. Donc voilà, hein, que de mieux de présenter ça sur un spot ici à l'île de La Réunion, un spot de surf. Bref, j'ai déjà assez parlé comme d'hab, Morpheus il aime bien parler. Donc les Froggies, je vous souhaite tout le meilleur. Je vous dis force et honneur, profitez bien de cette vidéo et à bientôt les amis.
So we
Thank
have
you.
Pablo here. I think Pablo, are you with us right now? Are you listening here?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
All right,
Hey,
perfect,
Pablo.
man, perfect. We have Pablo who has a really good way of viewing like the philosophical things of Star Atlas, and I love how you explain your vision, Pablo. So you know that in the Atlas Brew, what we like to do is to dive deep into things, and we have a few topics now. And having you, man, a co-founder, like sharing your, letting
Your
us see a
vision,
little bit
yeah.
in yeah of your vision of Star Atlas, and what is it, and like more like the broader vision of all things, like moving from the daily stuff that we do in Star Atlas to a more broader vision of everything. We have a couple questions for you, man, if you are willing to take them.
Let's do it on Sunday. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So first to start, I would love to see to know like what was your vision about Star Atlas at the moment that you guys decided to build this? Like, what did you guys have in mind? Because yeah, I guess it must be something huge, like really difficult to get all the things together. Like, I would love to hear how it was like before having Star Atlas and then how it is now. But let's start with before, like in year 2020, you see the play to earn system like starting to be proven that it works, and you decide to jump into it and build Star Atlas. I would love to hear that, like what you had in your mind at that time.
Oof, man, I don't know if we have enough time for this.
We do.
But I think I think the seed for where we are today has been cultivating for many lifetimes. There's a sense in our soul, or maybe I'll start here. Like when I ask someone, and I ask these questions sometimes when I'm out and about, and I just meet random people, and I enter into conversations with them. I'll ask them like who are they? And some people will start with like their job title or like where they're from, and I don't know. I'm a mother, father, or whatever. Kind of like these general things. And then I ask them again, like, well, who are you? Like, who's that voice that is speaking? Who is that? Right? And everyone always has like this moment of like looking at me, like when a dog looks at their owner with a treat, kind of like tilts their head to the right. I'm like, what do you mean? Even right now, right? Like, who is this voice that is speaking to or with you? That's me. That's who I am, right? That's my soul speaking. I'm not Pablo. I'm not Star Sapa. I'm not, Pablo from Peru or Pablo with 2 kids. Like, that soul in me, like that's me, right? Psychologists call that the me. When you discover the me, when you know the me, you find things, and you can actually explore different aspects of life. And so the reason why I say that, the seed to Star Atlas was seeded many lives ago is because I think that we're in a moment where 4 people got together and their collective energy was caught in this vessel called Star Atlas. And now there's thousands of people in this vessel called Star Atlas. This vessel is something that is expressing and manifesting everything that we truly want to be, not necessarily who we are right now, right? And so when we can kind of like collectively step into that mindset and live out that expression, it becomes a community. And so, right now, Star Atlas is the game, and we're talking about factions, and we're talking about lore, and we're talking about the technology, DeFi, NFTs, and this sort of thing. But it could have been something else, to be honest, right? But it's this now, right? And so that's kind of like I know it's kind of woo woo. It's very on the esoteric side of a response, but
But
Makes
it's
sense.
okay. It's okay, man.
that's the type of energy that we're putting into this. This is a life engagement that we have with what we're doing, because we're not just doing this for for a company, for a business, or this is life, right? And so like we want to spend our life doing something that we love, and we want to do it with people that we love, right? And that's what we're finding. We're lucky. We're all lucky to be able to be a part of this. But the story is, Michael, Jacob, and Danny have been working in blockchain together for a few years prior to me meeting Michael. Once I met Michael, I met the rest of the team, and we reconnected in 2020. We reconnected while out on a bike ride, and Michael and I, and we reconnected. We're in bicycle gear and our 10-pound bikes, and we're going up a hill. And Michael starts telling me a little bit about what he's working on with Danny and Jacob, and it's about this game. And so I start asking questions, and I get more intrigued only because I'm a I love playing games, and I love sci-fi. I've watched so many sci-fi movies, and I love everything about aliens. Like I love, extraterrestrial, just stories, right? So I love this type of stuff, and science and space. I've always loved this since I was a kid. I grew up in Florida. Used to watch the rockets go out into space all the time out of Port Canaveral. So, when I started hearing about this, I was just like, wow, super interesting, super interesting. Well, I kind of just left it there, and I went home and then started doing a little bit more research. And I haven't slept since, pretty much. In reality, I didn't sleep for like 30 days. And in those first 30 days, where I didn't sleep, because I was just in a rabbit hole. I took the red pill in a rabbit hole. A week after that bike ride, I invited Mike to go on another bike ride, and when we finished that ride, I was like, man, let's go back to your house. I want to show you something. I want to do a whiteboard session. So Michael has this big whiteboard. I get the black one, he gets the blue one, and I asked him to share with me his vision. So he shares his vision, and I was like, okay, I understand that. I was like, can we go beyond? What happens in year 10? What happens in year 20? What happens in 100 years, right?
Yeah.
And so I took him down that path because in 2008, I was doing research on Second Life because one of my professors was doing a advising for Toyota to enter into the Second Life. And so I was already exposed and was spending a lot of time in Second Life back then. Like I would just hang out like at the beach, like the digital beach, and like meet girls and stuff. Like, well, I thought they were girls. I don't know what they were, but
Yeah.
I would hang out there, right? And so like when I told Mike, I was like, Mike, well, the game's amazing, sounds really cool. Here's some ideas, blah blah blah. I also have experience in mining, like real mining in Peru. So I love the game loops, and like that side of things. But the other part was, well, what if you could just live out your life in this place, right? And after understanding that Web3 can now take us into this immersive experience with VR and XR and AR, then we can actually make those experiences, hyper real, right? Like we can actually do this time around. Because it wasn't complete back in 2008, 2009 with Second Life. So, I gave him my whiteboard session, and he asked me to join the team, and that's how I became part of the team, and that's how I added my value, to the vision of Star Atlas was beyond the game. The crew was very focused on the game, and which is amazing. But I really wanted to look at what could we do beyond the game, and that's where I landed. But yeah, guys, I mean, like for me, from a personal perspective, our first action in this world is breath, right? We're born with breath, we die with breath. I think the magic happens in between, right? And even in the cycle right now of my breathing, breathe in, breathe out, the moment in between when I breathe in and I breathe out, if I can live that moment in between, that's where that's where I can experience flow state, right? Like that's where I can experience being in the now. And I think that I think that Star Atlas, it has the ability to consistently bring people into the now. Not just in gaming experiences, but in social activities as well.